you don't know a good thing when you got it in your head.
Inside. Oh, boy. Set to jump it up.
You might need something to hold on to when all the answers they don't amount to much. Somebody that you could just talk to and a little that human touch. Baby, you know.
Inside. Oh, boy. Set to jump it up. St. Ed's with their starting five back on the floor. Here, look at this. And that's a charge. Palmer. Oh, boy. Jones Intercable, WES-TV Channel 6 Sports presents IHSA Super Sectional Basketball. Tonight, the Elgin Larkin Royals versus the Rockford Boylan Titans. Tonight's game brought to you by McDonald's restaurants throughout the Elgin and Streamwood areas. I'm John Mercure along with Paul Lepic. And Paul, it's loud and it's going to be a dandy here tonight.
Absolutely, and both teams playing the kind of game that I think the fans at home and the fans here at the Rockford Metro Center are going to be really happy to see.
Larkin beginning to play good basketball, had a tough sectional final against Rockton Hononegah, and they're going to have to do a lot of things a lot more effective to come away with the W tonight. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, one of the things that I think they have to do is their outside shooting has to become better. It's one of the keys to the ball game. Turnovers is another key. I think they have to create Boylan turnovers. I think one of the things that you do is you have to stand inside the lanes and anticipate the passes as they're coming in. Another key is the rebounding game. Both teams, I think that's a key to get that inside game, get inside position offensively and defensively, and finally look for the open man inside. I think tonight David Binion's possibly going to be double teamed, and that'll open up either Simpson or Brown. And Simpson and Brown have been playing excellently the past couple of games, both against Rockford Jefferson as well as Rockton Hononegah. It ought to be a great game tonight.
Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about the Larkin Royals, obviously, throughout the course of the season. A bit about the Titans. They had a tough ball game in their sectional final, a game a lot of people thought they would not be able to pull out, but they did. They played with a lot of heart, a lot of determination, and even though they lost their star, Lee Lampley, this team still has two players that average better than 15 points a game, and it's going to be tough for the Larkin Royals to come into Rockford and come away with the victory.
Well, you got Johnny Hernandez at a guard spot. Got Binns, who's also a guard. He can shoot from the outside. You've also got a couple of inside players that have Slaughter and Hobson, and both of those guys inside can create some problems. There's a height advantage for the Rockford Titans against Larkin tonight, but I think Larkin, with its speed and its quickness, as you said, especially on the defensive end, I think Larkin can come out of here with a victory.
And I had a chance to talk with Coach Dom Kanata earlier, and he told us that don't expect to see anything new. If it's not broken, don't fix it. These Royals are going to run, they're going to gun, they're going to press, and it's really been the tenacious defense that has carried them thus far in the tournament.
Well, you know, tonight we tape on St. Patrick's Day, and, you know, there's a lot of luck of the Irish, if you will. But I think both teams got here with no luck really at all. They are two excellent teams, with Rockford coming in at 28-1 and Larkin coming in at 27-3. You don't get those kind of records with just luck. These are two good ball clubs, two clubs that like to run and control the game, and it ought to be a dandy tonight.
I see you have your green on.
Yep.
Let's hope that Lady Luck and the eyes of the Irish are smiling on the Larkin Royals this evening. We're at the Rockford Metro Center. We'll be back with first half action and the tip-off after this short break. Rockford Metro Center. It's time for Super Sectional Basketball. John Mercure along with Paul Lepic. And Paul, we hit on some of those keys for the Larkin Royals, and one of the keys that wasn't mentioned but has to be a concern is that they just maintain their composure. They're coming in here to Rockford, facing a tough squad, taking their show on the road. But Dom Kanata, coach of the Royals, says his team's ready to go.
Yeah, composure is definitely a key for both squads. Turnovers, you don't want to have turnovers in a game like this. I think another factor here, too, is the fact that as these guys are going to be shooting jump shots, they're shooting right into a void, as you can see from the side camera here at courtside. I mean, before, the guys are used to shooting into like a blank background. Here it's glass, and there's just people
but the depth perception is a little bit different, as if you're shooting in just a normal gym. So a lot of these guys, instead of making these layups, they're starting to take these jump shots, as you can see Larkin doing from the side here, because you have to get accustomed to that depth perception, especially with a clear glass backboard.
And it should be interesting. This squad for Rockford Boylan is a seasoned experienced squad, as are the Royals. Most of their starters are back from last year when they had a successful year. As a matter of fact, they start 4 seniors. And as the Larkin Royals do, that senior leadership really is important in their success. There you get a look at the Larkin cheerleaders. And on the opposite side of the court, the Royals are warming up. And Paul, a lot of other action going on as we head down that road to Champaign, which will all begin on Friday. Why don't you run down some of those other big super sectional games? Okay, at Southern Illinois University, it's Mount Vernon at 25-4. They were able to beat Carbondale after 2 6-point leads were lost. They lost last year in the sectional semifinals. Mount Vernon taking on Collinsville, which has that great Illinois-bound guard Richard Keene, averaging 20 points a ball game, and that's at SIU. At Hinsdale Central, it's Thornridge against Proviso East. Thornridge at 18-12. They are really the Cinderella team of this tournament. 20 years ago, if you recall, Quinn Buckner led a Thornridge team to the 2nd straight state title. That was 20 years ago. Here, Thornridge is again. They are really Cinderella at 18-12, taking on Proviso East, the #1 team right now in the state at 29-0. They are the defending state champs. They have a current record of 53 straight victories. At NIU, it's East Aurora against Fremd. East Aurora, of course, out of the Upstate 8 at 22-6. It's their 4th time in 6 years that they've been at this level. They beat Fremd back in 88-89, and guess who their opponent is? The Fremd Vikings at 21-8. They are at the super sectional level for the 4th time in the past 7 years. Mo Tharp got his Fremd Vikings all set for a big game down at NIU. Should be a good one. At East Aurora, it's Hillcrest at 26-4 against Bradley Bourbonnais. And we'll be taking I'll tell you something about that one, as well as the one that's going on at the Peoria Civic Center and at Northwestern throughout the ball game. But a lot of key action here at the super sectional level, and I'm glad to have you with us here tonight on the Jones Intercable. And we're told that this may be the largest crowd to watch a high school basketball game in the history of the Metro Center. Since they brought the event here, I believe it was 7 or 8 years ago. Well, I tell you, they had like 8,000 tickets sold. This thing can hold close to 9,000. If you've never been out here to the Rockford Metro Center, folks, it's patterned on the basis of the Rosemont Horizon. If you've been at the Horizon, it's kind of an octagonal shape. But there is not a bad seat in the house. There is no posts obstructing any of the view around here in the Metro Center. And you can see just a sea of blue over on that far side as you're looking at your TV set here, and right behind us, the sea of green for the Rockford Boylan Titans. And there is a good look at this arena and a good look at the Larkin Royals. We talked to the manager of the Royals about the bus ride over here, about a 45-minute to an hour trip out of Elgin. And he said the team really seemed focused. There wasn't a lot of idle chit-chat. He said it was pretty quiet. Everybody seemed focused, concentrating. And the coaching staff going over last-minute provisions for the game at the front of the bus. And Dom Canada says his team's ready. And we're just about set to find out as they get set to introduce the starting lineups. And they start with Sean Palmer, number 24 for the Larkin Royals. There you see him. And also the opposing forward here, they introduced Johnny Hernandez, the guard here, 6'1", 180-pound senior for the Boylan Titans. There's Matt Schuler. Matt Schuler, the one guard, 5'11" senior for Larkin. He'll meet up with Darrell Banks, 6'4½", senior forward. Greg Hornock, the other guard for the Larkin Royals, 6'1", junior guard. He'll be back for Dom Canada next year. Here's Bill Benz, a 6'4", 175-pound junior forward. He'll be back for Steve Goer's Boylan Titans. Here's the man in the middle, David Binion. Big game hopefully tonight for David. David, 6'2", senior. They'll be going up against Tim Hobson, a 6'4" forward, who's also a senior for the Boylan Titans. And
There you see Chris Brown being introduced. Chris, a 6'4" senior. And Michael Slaughter, a 6'6.5" senior center for the Boylan Titans. As we said at the pregame, Boylan does have a little bit of a height advantage, but I think Larkin's got the quickness on him a little bit, so it ought to be an interesting game tonight.
And all year long, the Royals have run into that they don't quite match up height-wise, but they tend to make up for it in their quickness and their defensive intensity. There you see the Royals. They're getting set as the crowd rises, and we're just about set to hear our national anthem here from the Rockford Metro Center. And we're just about ready for basketball. As we settle in here, this Boylan crowd, 2 reasons to wear the green today, St. Patrick's Day, and their Titans, their beloved Titans, wear the green and the gold. A lot of interesting matchups this evening. One that we'll pay particular attention to will be Johnny Hernandez, who's bound for Eastern Illinois University, the point guard. He likes to take the outside shot and also drive the lane, and he'll be matched up against that 3-guard offense of the Royals.
See both teams coming in at center court. Larkin coming in with, again, a record of 27 wins, 3 losses. Boylan with a record of 28-1. Both of these squads met 21 years ago at this level of competition to go downstate. Larkin lost it 21 years ago. Let's see what happens tonight.
And we're just about set for the tip. Slaughter and Binion. And it's controlled by the Royals. Greg Hornock across the timeline, met by Binns. Quick look inside. Sean Palmer has it blocked, and he can't get it to fall. Johnny Hernandez up ahead, and Binns can't get it. Gathered and finally stuck in by Tim Hobson, and the Titans are on the board.
Boy, big play on the offensive glass. Boylan all over the offensive glass in the early going.
And pressure by the Titans, stolen by Binns. And he misses another layup. But this time it's Banks there for the deuce. And the Royals down 4-zip.
Darrell Banks led Boylan in scoring in the last game against LaSalle Peru. He had 16.
And Hornock looks to set up the offense, fronted by Binns. And Binion top of the key. Goes baseline. And he won't get the bucket, but he's fouled.
The foul is going to be on number 52, Tim Hobson. That's his first, the team's first, sending David to the line. David with 12 points in the last ball game.
Binion about a 67% free thrower on the year. There you get a look at the senior. And he hits it. David shooting into that sea of green and gold.
You know, another factor here too, John, is that you have to make your free throws, because it will be an up-tempo game. Probably quite a few fouls are going to be called tonight.
And that one doesn't go. And the Royals decide to sag back. Binns to Hobson, looks inside for Slaughter. Slaughter knocked away by Binion with the quick hands.
Nice play by David as he switched up, stayed on that baseline. Slaughter tried to take it to the baseline. Binion slapped it out of bounds.
Binion gives up about 2.5 inches in that matchup. Inside look, Hornock controls, and it's the Royals on a breakout. Hornock all the way. And we're tied at 4. Take that back, 4-3. Boylan on top, Hernandez between the rings. Hernandez looks inside. They swing it to Binns. Hernandez drives, and he hits the runner from about 14 feet.
Tough shot for Hernandez, as you're saying, driving to the basket. Not a set shot.
And once again, that trapping pressure by the Titans, it's broken. Palmer. And Hornock between the rings looks to set the offense. Sean Palmer from about 17 feet. Broken up.
So that's a good foul, though, by Schuler to make here. That'll be his first, the team's first. But Schuler broke that long down court pass and that baby layup.
And the Titans looking to run early against the Royals, who are going to have to do a better job of getting back on defense. Banks can't hit the jumper. And they're going to get Hobson for over the back.
He climbed all over Palmer on the inside there for Hobson. That's going to be his second personal, the team's second. Want to stay out of foul trouble, too, in this ball game. Hobson already with 2. We're not even out of the first quarter yet.
Brown, the no-look to Palmer. Binion kicks it back out. It's Palmer. 4-3. Sean Palmer hits the tray.
That is a big shot.
And Banks gets it back quickly. And we're tied at 8.
Banks with 4, but boy, if Palmer can hit that 3 on a consistent basis, I think Boylan might have some problems tonight.
Larkin breaks the pressure. Hornock. Schuler.
Yeah.
Back-to-back threes. Whew. And Larkin jumps back on top, 11-8. Blocked, and the Royals force the turnover. Schuler to Hornock. Schuler goes baseline. Looks for Binion and saved. Hornock. Ow. And Hornock dribbles it off his knee right in front of us.
Boy, nice play by David with the sliding save here.
And the Titans will inbound. Down by 3 as we close in on the 4-minute mark. For Slaughter in the post. He gives it up, and Hobson gets the easy layup.
And nobody covered Hobson down the lane. He had that baby layup, as you said. Nice look by Slaughter.
And they break the pressure. Palmer. That one won't go. Hobson with the board. Quick inside pass, broken up and knocked out of bounds. That'll belong to the Royals.
Boy, Rockford trying to set the tempo early, trying to get it down inside before Larkin has a chance to set up defensively, and that time it caused a turnover.
And really a frenzied pace.
There's Kendrick Thomas in the lineup for the Larkin Royals.
Special K in to help out with that defense and a little bit of rebounding.
Kendrick, a 6-foot senior.
Binion top of the key. And Brown kicks it back out. Binion between the rings. Thomas looking for help. Palmer inside, has it blocked, no foul, and here come the Titans. Broken up nicely by David Binion, Kendrick Thomas.
And then lob pass inside for Banks. Banks is wide open at the baseline. They just shoved it out of bounds. Here comes Sherrick Simpson in the lineup.
Dom Canada told us that he would check in early if he thought the Titans were running too effectively.
Simpson is 6'3" junior. He'll be back on Dom's team for next year.
And number 50, Brian McNett, checks in for the Titans. He replaces Hobson.
McNett's a 6'4" junior.
Hernandez, top of the key.
Nice play by Palmer, blocking out Slaughter, cutting across.
Slaughter controls Banks. And that won't go. Thomas gathers the board, and here come the Royals up by 1.
It's Larkin's first rebound tonight.
Hornock, spin move in the lane, looks for help. Ooh. And Simpson throws it away.
I think Simpson thought that David was going to come back out. Instead, David went baseline. He saw the opening, and pass sailed out of bounds here.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a wet spot on the floor. There you have a look at Brian McNett, the good old-fashioned dry it with your sneaker routine. And we're under 3 minutes left in this first quarter. Larkin up by 1, 11-10.
Taking a look at the scoring for Larkin as we got a little bit of time here. Brown and Simpson yet to get on the board. They need that front line scoring.
Hernandez drives.
Nice
McNett
block.
Can't get it. Here comes Hornock and the Royals. Greg Hornock takes it himself. And Kendrick Thomas.
Ooh!
And they're going to get Kendrick on the foul. And Slaughter hit the deck hard. Thomas clearly was going for the ball.
Thomas tried to prevent Slaughter from the dunk. He had a wide open dunk shot from the left side. Kendrick right away comes over and shakes hands with Slaughter. There's Matt Schuler back into the lineup. Also for Rockford Boylan into the lineup, Dana Kiley, a 6'1" junior. There's Kiley, number 21. Slaughter at the line.
Slaughter only a 40% free thrower. And when the announcer says that, it's money in the bank. That one will probably go down.
That's why I didn't say anything, Jack.
And he hits them both. And some full court pressure once again by the Titans. And Hornock. Fronted by Kiley. David Binion out top. Whoa. Oh, and he's fouled. Brian McNett with a little poke.
For McNett, that'll be his first personal, the team's third. Only one team foul called against Larkin so far, that on Schuler. I think you can tell it's going to be rough inside with the foul on Slaughter and now the foul on Binion.
And Binion on the nice inbound gets the easy one. And the Royals back on top by 3.
Well, Slaughter fell asleep inside.
And McNett in the corner gets it back to his point guard. Hernandez looks to go baseline, looking for some help. Nowhere to be found, but Slaughter comes back up a 3-on-2. McNett gets the soft jumper. Greg Hornock across the timeline. Boylan in there man-to-man. Hornock off the mark. Simpson fights for the rebound. He gathers and he's hammered.
Nice play by Sherrick Simpson, though, staying on that glass for that the offensive rebound. The foul is going to be on number 50, McNett. That's his second, the team's fourth, sending Simpson to the line. The credit Simpson with a great offensive rebound, trying to put it back up, keep that ball alive on the offensive glass.
Sherrick Simpson, a 66% free thrower on the year, and another substitution for the Titans. It's Greg Pinkos checking into the ball game.
Just looking at the Boylan roster, they don't lose too many guys once graduation comes here. They're going to lose Banks. That's about it for the, and Hobson and Slaughter. So the inside game will be gone, but a lot of juniors and a couple of sophomores on this squad.
And Simpson hits the free throw.
For Larkin, they're going to lose Schuler, Ziesmer, Binion, Thomas, Brown.
And the second one's good. Sean Palmer will check back into the ballgame. Greg Hornott gets a rest. Brown also in. Binion on the bench. And Hernandez brings it up court. We're under a minute left in this opening period. Super sectional basketball from the Rockford Metro Center. Johnny Hernandez out of control. Good position by Simpson, who draws the offensive foul.
And for Hernandez, that's his first, the team's fifth.
And no argument. Matt Schuler set to inbound for the Royals. Looking to get it in. Thomas. And that's a travel. Simpson with the flying start, whistled for the travel, and the Titans get the ball back. 47 seconds left, trailing by 3.
Turnovers even at 4 apiece right now.
Banks. And he misses the open Jay Slaughter. Kept the ball alive and got the deuce.
Well, it looked like he was all over Palmer's back, no call.
Schuler across the timeline. Sees an opening baseline, kicks it for Simpson. Palmer the inside move. And he's getting up gingerly. Banks on the far side. Back out to Johnny Hernandez. Ooh. And off the mark, Brown gathers the rebound as time expires. That's going to bring us to the end of 1 at the Rockford Metro Center. Your Larkin Royals on top, 19-16, and we'll be back after this short break on the Intercable.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
What's cooking?
Well, sir, the Wild West has returned to McDonald's.
Oh, you don't say.
So you could start the day with a hearty combination of tomatoes, peppers, and sausage in our 99-cent breakfast burrito.
Oh, no.
And stop back later for tender strips of grilled chicken with fresh tomatoes and cheese in our 99-cent chicken fajitas.
Come on, Wishbone. Hold your horses. I'm still talking to the sign.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
For my birthday, I asked for a pair of lavender pumps.
Purple shoes.
What does she give me?
A U.S. savings fund.
It was so embarrassing.
This is the thanks I get for giving her something that will keep on earning interest long after those pumps have gone out of style.
But then I talked to Elaine.
Elaine's mom gave her savings bond, too.
She said in a few years we can use these bonds for lots of stuff, like a down payment on a house, even a car.
I've always liked Elaine.
So from now on, all I want are savings bonds. Think of all the shoes we'll be able to buy.
And help David Binion in his bid to become a McDonald's All-American. Visit your participating McDonald's in Elgin and Streamwood. Back for second quarter action. Banks out top. Banks keeps it on the perimeter, looking inside. Slaughter fronted nicely by David Binion in there. And the Larkin defense looks to be tightening up. Jumper on the way and off the mark for Pinkos, but Slaughter gathers and puts it back in.
Slaughter now with 6.
Palmer from the corner. That's a two-pointer, foot on the line, but he cans the jumper. Hernandez in the backcourt. Binion hustles back to his position. 7 minutes left in the first half of this super sectional basketball game. Pincos can't get it to go. Binion with the rebound. Tipped to him by Brown. And Hornock across the timeline. Pushes. And David Binion's going to get whistled for the travel. And Dom Canada does not want David Binion putting the ball on the floor from the top of the key.
Yeah, I know. David's playing way up top. He should be down low with Chris Brown. Let the guards handle the ball up top.
And they'll give it to Binion up top and then have him set a pick and dish off, but they don't want him driving from 20 feet out. And Slaughter with the jam.
Slaughter 6.5.
Slaughter with the dunk moves the Titans to within 1. Bins on Hornock. And knocked out of bounds by Pincos.
You know, another factor here, John, the fans at home can see the three-point line. There is an NBA, CBA three-point line inside. We'll talk about that.
And David Binion with the inside position. Good recognition on the inbounds. Hernandez pushes, takes the tough jumper, won't get it to fall. Banks controls. Inside to Slaughter for the easy 2.
And one of the things Larkin has to do rebounding-wise is to grab the ball with 2 hands. They're losing control of it, even though they get the initial rebound off the glass.
And as you said, Paul, they're definitely not controlling the glass. Binion keeps it alive, can't get it to go, and Slaughter with the rebound. The Titans looking to take the lead on this trip. Hernandez, and that won't go. It was deep. Hornock gathers. And they're going to call Sean Palmer for the travel.
That's a good call. He stopped and stuttered, and then he continued on. 6th turnover against Larkin. You see this three-point stripe here. That's a CBA three-point stripe, and I think a lot of guys may be getting confused a little bit as to where, just in the field of play, where our three-point stripe is. The high school 3, which is just at the top of the key there, that line in white. Players sometimes aren't used to that NBA three-point stripe on their court.
And Tim Gore's into the ballgame for the first time for the Titans. He was scoreless in that sectional final. Hernandez can't get that one to fall. Little Tim Gores gathers, but can't get it to go. And Hernandez fouled on the play, and the Royals just are not going effectively to the glass. The 2 guards for the Boylan Titans gather the board over Binion and Brown inside.
Well, that foul is going to be on Brown. That's his first. Team's 3rd personal. It's going to send Hernandez to the line. But you're right, they're not getting that inside position for the rebound off the glass.
And Hernandez can't get the first one to drop. Second one on the way, and that's good. And we're tied. Tied up at 23. Greg Hornock, fronted by Gores, brings it across the timeline. There's your score. Palmer thought about it. Kendrick Thomas on the nice inside move. And the baseball pass down court. Banks to Hernandez. Gores ends up with the ball, and he traveled.
It's the 5th turnover for Rockford Boylan, but I could just imagine what's going on in Gore's eyes here as Kendrick Thomas flew at him.
And both clubs still trying to settle down and really find an offensive rhythm.
That's a good point. Yeah, neither one of these. Well, Larkin definitely is not in their offensive rhythm right now. Rockford could be getting into it.
Inside look for Simpson.
Foul.
Can't get the jumper to go, but gathers his own rebound and sticks it back in. And with that bucket, the Royals go back up by 4. Thomas with the quick hands knocks it out of bounds and takes a dive over the scorer's table.
Kendrick in press row here.
Let me introduce myself. Hernandez set to inbound. His club trailing by 4. Thought about the 3. Almost picked off by Palmer. Gores in traffic. And they're going to whistle, I believe, Palmer from behind.
Yeah, Palmer with a reach-in foul. It's going to be Sean's first, the team's fourth. At the line is going to be Gore's 6-foot junior. As you said, he didn't score in the last game that they played against LaSalle Peru.
Gore's under 50% on the year from the charity stripe. And that one won't fall.
At least he's consistent.
And he gets the second. And once again, the pressure by the Titans. As Larkin tries to get into their offense. Simpson out top, Thomas in the post. And Palmer hits the three.
Nice screen by Kendrick Thomas to free up Palmer.
And incidental contact is the call. Here come the Royals looking to build on a 6-point lead as Banks gathers himself and heads back down court. Kendrick Thomas once again forcing that turnover with his speed. Palmer gets his pocket picked, and Banks gets it to Gores. Gores put up that three. It looked like a last-second decision. And Thomas right at midcourt. The fans here want an over and back call, but didn't get it.
Not when you have your pivot foot on one side.
Thomas out in three-point land as Hornock flashes to the middle. And finally, it's Brown on the good position, but can't get the bucket. Here come Hernandez in the Titans. Gore seeing a lot of playing time early on in this ball game. And they're going to whistle Brown for over the back.
Foul on Chris Brown. That'll be the 15th foul called against the Larkin Royals.
And Brown actually with a pretty good defensive move in that he had his man far out on the floor in that post-up position. Had him where he really wanted him. Didn't need to deny the entry pass.
A lot of substitutions as Hobson comes into the lineup. Ben's back in for Boylan. For Larkin, you've got Schuler and Binion back in the lineup.
Palmer and Brown get a breather for the Royals. Hernandez thought about the three. And this time he takes it. And that one won't go. Slaughter fights for the rebound, picked up, still battle for the ball. And finally, number 22, Brian Feed, who had just checked into the ball game with a good position, gets the 2 points.
Boy, Simpson getting clobbered inside, no call.
That was my thought too, Paul. Oh, and they're going to say Johnny Hernandez came over the back of Kendrick Thomas.
I didn't think there were makeup calls on IHSA, did you? Nah.
Nah, never.
Nah, never. Hernandez is second, team sixth. Still ball out of bounds for the Royals underneath their own hoop.
The Royals cling to a 4-point lead as we close in on the 2-minute mark here in the first half. IHSA Super Sectional Basketball. Schuler can't get the bounce, and Slaughter with the rebound. Hernandez between the legs. And it's Slaughter going towards the middle. Jumper on the way and good.
Now that kid with that height advantage doesn't miss that often from the inside. Slaughter now at 12.
Hornock looks for help, gets it to Binion. Fans wanted to travel. Simpson looking to go baseline. David Binion can't get it to fall. And Slaughter once again with the rebound looks for help. Johnny Hernandez across the timeline. The Titans can't tie it with a deuce, go ahead with a long one. And there's the long one, doesn't go. Johnny Hernandez with the good position, and he gets the bucket. And the Royals are absolutely getting clobbered on the glass here. The Titan fans begin to make some noise as we're tied at 30.
Larkin has to play consistently here, stay in control.
And Schuler misses badly. And we go under 1 minute left in the half. Johnny Hernandez kicks it off. And Theed sets up. Slaughter out top, and they pull it out. Are they going to play for one here?
Maybe. Go in with a tie ball game, either that or possibly a 2 or 3 point lead.
Dom Canada instructing his troops not to foul. 18 seconds left in the first half.
One of the things Larkin has to do come the second half here is play within themselves, play within control.
And this is where they want them. They want to keep them out top as time ticks down. Wow.
Going to call a foul on Kendrick Thomas for reaching in. Didn't really see it from this vantage point.
Not a smart play by Thomas as time ticked down.
Palmer back into the lineup for Larkin. And Darrell Banks back in the lineup for Boylan.
Boylan not yet in that bonus, so with 5 seconds left, they'll take the ball inbounds. We're knotted up at 30.
That's only the 16th foul against Larkin.
Hernandez, the long three. And he misses badly, but Slaughter
got it.
Gets the bucket, and it'll count. And that's going to send us into the locker room at the end of one half of basketball. The Rockford Boylan Titans ahead of the Larkin Royals 32-30 on a big half of basketball from Michael Slaughter. We'll be back for second half action and a recap of the first half stats after this break.
If you could be the executive producer, would you choose this event or this event? With the Olympics Triplecast, you'll get 24-hour coverage for 15 days on 3 cable channels. So now for the '92 Barcelona Olympics, you can choose your event. Call 1-800-OLYMPIC. The Olympics Triplecast, a whole new way to see the games.
McDonald's introduces the return of the Wild West.
May I take your order?
Yes, ma'am. I reckon you can.
For a limited time, rustle up a saucy, sassy McRib. Or a Western omelet McMuffin for breakfast with peppers, onions, and ham. Or try a satisfying 99-cent chicken fajitas or 99-cent breakfast burrito.
Howdy, boys.
What you want is what you get.
Mind if I join you?
At McDonald's today.
We're back. Second half action getting ready to come your way from the Rockford Metro Center. Hope you enjoyed that little message from McDonald's, the food, folks, and fun people helping bring this game to you this evening. Paul, how about recapping some of those key first half stats?
Well, taking a look at the rebounding, there you see a big edge for Boylan, 15-6 on the glass. That's one of the keys for Larkin in the second half. They've got to control the rebounding. Turnovers, it's even at 6 apiece. Field goal percentage, oddly enough, you wouldn't think it. Larkin shooting 50% from the field, Boylan with 40%, but Boylan making it from the free throw line, 4 for 6 from the charity stripe, Larkin 3 for 4 from the charity stripe. As far as leading scorers in this ballgame so far in this first half, showing you the leading scorers here. We have Sean Palmer with 12. And you've got Binion with 5, Hornock with 4, and Schuler with 4, and Simpson also with 4 points. As far as Rockford Boylan, got Slaughter with 14. A lot of those off the glass, off of misses from Larkin. Hernandez with 5, and Banks with 4.
And speaking of Slaughter, That's just what it's been here so far. Absolutely killing the Royals on the glass and in the scoring column. They have got to shut this guy down. He's not that strong inside, but Larkin thus far unable to put a body on him effectively. And the team's getting ready to come back for second half action, and that's got to be one of the keys to the second half for the Royals. Boylan with far too many second and third chances off that offensive glass.
Absolutely, they have to get that inside position. You could tell, especially on the offensive glass for Boylan, that Larkin was not inside with their positioning. So rebounding is going to be a key for Larkin here in the second half as Larkin gets the ball to start the second half.
And Larkin down by 2. Hornock fronted by Binns. Binion extended. And they're going to call Palmer for the travel, another Larkin turnover.
It's the 7th turnover. Turnover's pretty much even in this ball game, so neither team not doing exceptionally well.
Almost picked off by Palmer, but Hernandez decides to run. And he gives it up to Banks between the rings. Binns having a quiet night, gives it back up, and it's in Hernandez's hands as he resets the offense. Quick inside look, Slaughter rejected.
Nice rejection. The guy's inside on Slaughter. Tom Canada must have told him, get that inside position on the big man.
And Boylan set to inbound. Hernandez looks inside, and instead Slaughter will switch up on the post. Hernandez off the glass, won't go. Fight for the ball, and Slaughter comes away with it. Can't get that to go, and Binion controls. Here come the Royals. Sean Palmer goes baseline. And he gets whistled for the travel.
Second consecutive turnover on possessions for Larkin.
I cannot believe, Paul, that was a travel. Maybe it was an offensive foul, maybe it was a defensive foul. I didn't see a travel.
I didn't see it either.
As we approach the 7-minute mark, Boylan clinging to that 2-point lead. They look inside for Slaughter, can't find him open. Bad pass picked off by Hornock. Here comes David Binion. He's got Hernandez to beat. Binion with the jam.
David
ignites the crowd on the Larkin side. Royals trying to get back on defense. We got a tied ball game. Larkin trying to pick it up a notch. Inside triple team. Hornock picks it off. He looks to run, slows it up. And here come the Royals. They can take the lead here in the third quarter. Hornock gets the switch, fronts Binns. Palmer can't get the short one to go. Brown controls. And he kicks it back out to Palmer. The Royals look to reset that offense. David Binion down low in the post.
There's the screen right there. Ow.
Oh, Hornock passes up the shot. Binion doesn't want to take that one. Nice recognition. And Hornock lost the ball.
Slapped out of his hands by Slaughter.
Here come the Titans. They look inside for Binns.
Good call.
And he gets called for the travel. He took that entry pass in traffic and had really nowhere to go, Paul.
Yeah, right down the lane. Kendrick Thomas back in the lineup. Palmer grabs a seat.
Matt Schuler across the timeline behind the pick by Kendrick Thomas. There you see Dom Canada on the sideline. Schuler, the long one. And not enough oomph. Thomas. And that's deflected out of bounds as Thomas went up with the off-balance shot.
At least they're trying to get that position on the offensive glass. It isn't automatically one shot and out.
Hornock goes baseline and gets the layup. Johnny Hernandez across the timeline. Banks out deep, takes a step, looks inside for Slaughter. Triple teamed in the post. Nice ball movement by the Titans. And that's an air ball, and Brown collects. The Royals look to build on their 2-point lead. Hornock outside the 3-point line, Schuler. Schuler barks out the play. Takes it far sideline, thinks about the jumper. Finds Hornock. Binion looks to go baseline. Ooh. And won't get that line drive shot to fall. Slaughter with another rebound. As we approach the 4-minute mark in this third quarter, John Mercure along with Paul Lepick. Kendrick Thomas with the amazing hands and the steal. Here come the Royals. Good inside look. Oh. Brown rejected by Slaughter.
Binns is limping.
And it's really heating up here at the Rockford Metro Center. Super sectional action. A packed house. Kendrick Thomas will look at the clock. Binns into the lane. The off-balance runner won't go. Banks collects. Banks gets it back. And he draws the foul.
Looking at, it's going to be on number Matt Schuler. That's his second.
And the intensity, Paul, you can sense is really picking up on both the offensive and the defensive end for both clubs. They know what's at stake in this ball game.
I think Larkin, though, here in the second half, playing a much more controlled tempo type of ball game. They're not playing out of control, causing turnovers that are self-induced, if you will.
Banks, a good free thrower, 70% on the year. And he cans them both. Thomas looks to inbound. Pressured, looking for help. Puts it on the floor. And picked off. Kendrick Thomas, long court. And that was a mistake by Kendrick Thomas. I believe he thought that he still had to beat the 10-second call. The official was motioning that he didn't, that it was reset, and he throws it away.
Yeah, as soon as the Boylan offensive player touched it, that clock resets. But he totally missed Chris Brown. Chris Brown standing closer to him. David Binion standing almost at the half-court circle.
Boylan looks to regain the lead. Johnny Hernandez, near side. Almost picked off by Thomas. Hernandez looks inside. Binns goes baseline, doesn't get it. Slaughter out top. Johnny Hernandez, fronted by Hornock. Quick inside pass, good ball movement. And Slaughter gets the dunk. And he claims he was hit in the face on top of it. No whistle, Boylan on top, 36-34, under 3 minutes left, and we have a timeout, an official's timeout, as they clear the floor of a little bit of ice. Slaughter grabbing his face. I don't think he's feeling too well.
Steve Gores, the head coach there of Boylan, telling the official to look at Slaughter. The official's going to come over and look at Slaughter, see if his eye's okay.
And they're debating about whether or not to take an official's timeout. The debate goes on, and it looks like play's going to continue.
Boylan coming with a full court press here.
Leading by 2. Hornock set to inbound. Gets it into Binion. Back to Hornock, who breaks the pressure. Palmer passes up the 3. Oh. And here come Banks and the Titans. Slaughter on the jumper, off the mark. Fight for the ball. Hernandez controls. And the little dipsy-do goes. Nearly picked off by Binns. No, Binion doesn't want to put that up.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. And it counts. The lead down to 2 as we close in on 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Inside look for Slaughter, triple teamed in the post. He looks for help. No travel, and Hernandez hits the three. The crowd erupts. Simpson trying to get back in the ball game for the Royals. This place beginning to rock and roll.
Simpson, as you said, comes in for Chris Brown.
The Titans with their biggest lead of the night. A little look at some of their fans as they go up by 5 here at the Metro Center. Once again, full court pressure. Up ahead to Simpson. He goes baseline, can't get it to fall. Slaughter with another rebound. And they're going to call a travel as Kendrick Thomas gets in some good defensive position. Didn't look like he had given the offensive player room to come down, but they whistle Boylan for the travel.
In any case, that's the 9th turnover for Boylan.
Larkin needs to cut into this lead a little bit. Hornock comes off the screen. Knocked away by Slaughter. And what's the call going to be?
It looks like it's a reach-in foul on Slaughter, at least I hope. 55 is on Slaughter. That's his first personal. Ball come over to the side right in front of the Larkin bench.
Greg Hornock inbounds to Kendrick Thomas.
A lot of time left in this game. Larkin better not panic. A lot of time left.
Palmer looks for some help. And it's knocked out of bounds by Boylan as he looked inside for David Binion.
I'll tell you, Slaughter got more than just the ball there. He got part of David's arm, no call.
Binion has the ball knocked away. A lot of slapping going on out there. Oh, and Thomas manages to get his hand on the ball as he falls down. Knocks it out of bounds.
Great pressure on Banks, almost a double team over on that far side.
David Binion has a seat on the bench, and he is fuming. Hernandez, as we go under a minute left in this third quarter. Boylan looking to build on a 5-point lead. Binns with a nice cut to the basket, moved well without the ball. Simpson looking to beat the pressure.
Binns his first 2 points on the night.
Brown with the 3. Kendrick Thomas muscles it up and gets the 2.
Kendrick with 4. At that time, 2 Titan offensive players inside. One gets knocked out of bounds. Kendrick at the right place at the right time.
And there's a foul on the play and the hoop by Hobson.
Larkin foul on number 32, Greg Hornock. That's his first personal, the team's second. Schuler back in the lineup. Also number 30, Tim Bailey, a 5'9" senior point guard for Boylan back in. Number 33, Greg Pincus, 6'4" junior, is going to come into the lineup. Hobson at the line for the three-point play.
This would build the lead to 8.
David coming back in for the last 11 seconds here in the third.
An offensive explosion for the Boylan Titans in the last 3 minutes. Hobson off the mark. Palmer gathers the rebound. Under 10 seconds left. The look ahead for Simpson. Schuler lets go the 3. Over the backboard, out of bounds with 1 second remaining. Look, they got to protect against that deep down court pass. Banks is deep, as is Bailey. Hernandez Good if it goes, but it's short. At the end of 3/4 of super sectional basketball from the Rockford Metro Center, the Boylan Titans on top of the Larkin Royals, 45-38. Back with more action in a minute.
You are responsible for the most intricate machine on Earth. A machine that can run for 100 years, yet be decimated by something a mere billionth of its size. It comes with no instructions, but there is an owner's hotline.
Hello, ask a nurse.
Ask a nurse. If you have a healthcare question, we have the answer.
At Larkin Pharmacy, you're more than just a prescription number. You're our neighbor. And being neighbors means going the extra mile for you. You know that our prescription prices have always been lower, but if you're a Senior Spirit member, you'll save another 10%. That little extra means we have more than medicine at our full-service pharmacy. We have cards and gifts, too. Senior Spirit members, remember to check Larkin Pharmacy's low prescription prices. Our largest competitor does every day.
Boylan begins the fourth quarter with the ball. Banks out top. The Royals trail by 7 here. Looking to get back into the ballgame. It usually starts with their defense. They'll look to tune it up a notch here in this fourth quarter. And that's got to be a 5-second call. I can't believe it. No call. Slaughter once again looks for help. Hernandez out top. And he goes the length and puts it in.
I had a wide open lane. Nobody picked Hernandez up.
Boylan by 9. Inside look for Palmer. And he's just hammered, and they call it a jump ball.
Wow.
Possession arrow belongs to the Royals. He was hammered, not by one guy, but by 2 guys.
There's a timeout on the court.
And Dom Canada, not a happy camper. As another timeout is burned by the Larkin Royals, we'll take another timeout as well and be back in a moment. What is the Royals going to have to do to turn the tide here?
Well, I think that inside position and the rebounding off the glass, to block out Mr. Slaughter from the offensive boards. I think if Larkin can't do that, it's adios. But if Larkin can get that inside position and clean up on the offensive glass and defensive glass, Larkin can come back right in this ballgame.
Cornock has his pass knocked away, and another Larkin turnover. Hernandez avoids Thomas between the rings. And Binns looks for Hernandez, picked off by Thomas, who looks for some help. David Binion misses the layup. Can't get the easy one. Hobson with the rebound, and that one hurts.
David didn't know whether to slam it or lay it up, and the indecision cost him the basket.
Slaughter gets fouled.
It might be on Palmer, it looks like. Now, correction, that'll be on Hornock. That'll be his second, the team's third. Slaughter at the line thus far, 2 for 2 on the night.
And the Royals had better start to regain their composure a little bit, or they're going to get run out of the gym here.
Schuler back in the lineup. Hornock grabs a seat.
Slaughter will get one more. And that one is short, but he gets the rebound. Throws it up, it won't go, but they whistle Thomas for the foul.
That was an over-the-shoulder shot by Slaughter. That thing almost fell in.
And that's the way it's gone all night for the Royals. 2 of them collide fighting for the rebound. Slaughter ends up with the ball.
Last foul was on, I believe it was Kendrick Thomas. Here's a steal.
Schuler picks it off and dribbles it off his own knee. Another costly turnover.
Larkin leading in that stat by my calculations, 14-10. It's not a stat you want to lead in.
Larkin beginning to fall apart right before our eyes here. Hernandez across the timeline, hounded by Thomas. A wide open pass to Hobson, who gets the easy 2.
Nice touch pass by Banks inside to Hobson.
And the Boylan Titans playing some inspired basketball. They go up by 12. And the Larkin Royals forced to call a timeout. We're going to keep it here as the Rockford Metro Center begins to erupt. At least half of it does. The half dressed in the green and gold. Paul, run down some more of that other super sectional action going on.
Okay, at East Aurora, it's Hillcrest at 26-4 against Bradley Bourbonnais at 27-2. Bradley, their 6th appearance in the Sweet 16. Hillcrest, their 2nd year in a row in the Sweet 16 competition, 4th time in 6 years. At the Peoria Civic Center, it's Peoria Richwoods, who lost in the regionals last year. They finally have a decent record, 27-2. Excellent season this year, going up against Danville at 26-5. And at Northwestern, it's Stevenson, 28-1. First time in the history in the Sweet 16, taking on Glenbrook North. And what a trip they've had. It would be their first trip to the Elite Eight if they can get by Stevenson in their school history. And that'll be at Northwestern. Of course, the big news out of the Chicago Public League, Westinghouse defeated King 76-68. So Westinghouse already with a trip down the Champaign.
And a rarity for the Royals. They're being beat at their own game. The run and gun, the crash the board type of helter-skelter offense that they like to run, and they're going to have to really tune it up a notch for the home stretch. Another poor pass, but Simpson regains control. Stolen back by Slaughter, up to Hernandez. Banks wide open, misses the layup, but Hernandez there for the tip, and the Boylan Titans up by 14.
Well, they are just crashing the boards, they being Boylan.
Binion for 3, and he hits the 3.
Wow. First points of the quarter for Larkin.
Inside for Banks. Hobson with the easy position and the deuce, and Larkin once again beaten down the court. Simpson fighting to retain control, and they're going to get somebody on the Titans for the foul.
All right. Call it on Banks. His first, the team's 2nd non-shooting foul, so Larkin inbound right in front of us.
5:16 left in this ball game, unless we go into some OT. Brown for Palmer. Palmer off the mark on the 3, fights for control, and the flip ahead to Banks. Can he control? He does, to Hernandez. And thrown away.
So Larkin will inbound it. Boy, that's a rarity where the Titans played out of control a little bit.
Larkin down by 13, needs to make things begin to happen as we go under 5 minutes left in this super sectional contest.
Boy, Larkin just standing around offensively. Need to move the ball.
And another turnover. Here come the Titans. Banks, Hernandez back to Banks. One more pass. Hernandez avoids the double team and gets the deuce.
Hernandez with 6 in the quarter.
And the Royals begin to collapse. Schuler out top. Palmer for 3, just throws it up. It's blocked partially. And Dom Canada having a fit on that far sideline.
Foul's going to be on. Foul's on David. That's his first. Team's 5th. Greg Ziesmer in the lineup for Larkin.
Sean Palmer with the slow walk off the court.
Dana Kiley into the lineup for Rockford. Replaces Banks.
And Banks has just devastated the Royals tonight. Quick down the floor time and time again.
Oh!
And Kiley with the kind roll gets the three.
That's the way it's been going tonight for Rockford.
And suddenly it's an 18-point ball game, and the Titans and Johnny Hernandez smell the blood in the water.
For Hernandez, that's his third personal, the team's third. Hernandez played a little bit out of control, brought Steve Gores, the head coach of Boylan, off the bench.
The Royals with a little bigger lineup on the floor. 3 big men, 2 guards. Look inside, a poor pass by Thomas, picked off by Hernandez.
Ooh.
And Hernandez fouled as he takes the ball to the hoop.
So Hernandez is going to go to the charity stripe for 2 shots. Ball's going to be on Kendrick Thomas. For Thomas, that's his third. Well, they have him with 4. In any case, that's the team's 6th.
Banks back in. Pinco's back in. And things not looking good for the Royals at this point with 3:30 left in the ball game.
I think one of the problems being for Larkin, they never really got on the offensive glass for rebounds. Also on the defensive glass, Slaughter, too much freedom inside.
Hernandez off the mark on the first one. He'll get a second shot. And he hits that one to lead the biggest of the night at 19. Schuler, baseline, nice move, but can't get the hoop to go. Here comes Johnny Hernandez. A 2-on-3, nice dish, and the lay-in by Dana Kiley.
Kiley with 5 in the quarter.
And that pass is thrown away. Another Larkin turnover.
I'm sorry to say, John, it doesn't look good for the Larkin Royals. That 3:05 left to go in regulation and a 21-point lead for Boylan.
Back with more in a moment.
McDonald's introduces the return of the Wild West.
May I take your order?
Yes, ma'am, I reckon you can.
For a limited time, rustle up a saucy, sassy McRib. Or a Western omelet McMuffin for breakfast with peppers, onions, and ham. Or try a satisfying 99-cent chicken fajitas or 99-cent breakfast burrito.
Howdy, boys.
What you want is what you get.
Mind if I join you?
At McDonald's today.
Stretch here. And you can expect to see the benches empty in about another minute.
Yeah.
Boylan already with numerous substitutions on the night. Inside look for Hernandez, picked off by Binion. He looks up court. Instead, he'll slow the ball up. Another 3. David Binion hits the long tray, but it may be too little too late.
Second 3 for Binion in the quarter.
And no quit in this Larkin ball club as they pressure in the backcourt and picked off. And they're going to call that a jump ball, and that'll belong to Boylan. Good hustle by Ziesmer on that play.
Simpson back in the lineup for Larkin. Binns back in the lineup, as well as Slaughter for Rockford Boylan. Brown's going to grab a seat for Larkin.
And they get the ball in, Kiley. Pressured, gets it off to Banks. And Binns fouled out on the floor. That may be another foul on Hornock.
For Greg, that'll be his third personal. 17 foul called against Larkin, so it's going to send Binns to the line for the 1-and-1. Correction, 2 shots. Okay.
Greg Hornock, as most of this Royal squad, having a rough night.
Hobson back in. Kiley sits down for Boylan.
You can imagine how devastating this Boylan squad must have been when they had Lampley, just another guy who can light it up from the outside. Their leading scorer.
You know, one of the things, though, and Larkin can hold their head up high, they played a very aggressive schedule. The Upstate 8 is a great conference to play in. Also, the fact that they played very aggressive basketball, but it just didn't click tonight for some reason or other on the offensive glass and on rebounding tonight. A little bit of problems tonight. Hobson's going to grab the foul here. It'll be his third, the team's third.
As we approach 2 minutes left, ball game. Schuler, jumper on the way. Can't get it to go. Ziesmer with the tip. Simpson, no, Dice. Still a struggle for the ball. Slaughter ends up with it. Back to Binns. And Johnny Hernandez looks inside for Slaughter. Nice cut to the basket. 2 more for Michael Slaughter.
Slaughter with 19 on the night.
A minute 30 left in this contest. Binion for another 3. He's unconscious from out there. His third tray of the night.
And David refuses to die. That's the type of character this kid is.
And Ziesmer whistled for the foul in the backcourt as he pressured. 18-point lead for the Titans.
Ziesmer's first personal foul. Be the 1-and-1. So Darrell Banks going to the line. Darrell 2 for 2 for the charity stripe tonight.
And the Metro Center begins to clear out.
Yeah, especially the Larkin fans on the far side. Like the long trip home back to Elgin.
Greg Hornock hurries the ball across the timeline. His club down by 20. Binion with yet another 3. A great shooting performance by David Binion.
David's got all 12 points of Larkin in the fourth quarter here.
And here come the wholesale substitutions set to check in for Boylan if they can get the clock stopped again. There's under a minute left. Hobson with the soft jumper. Hornock, Ziesmer, and they may want to burn a timeout just to get some kids into the ball game. Play continues, almost picked off.
It'll be on Hornock across the side here. It's going to be his 4th personal foul.
And here they come.
Rockford Boylan will advance. Play the winner of the East Aurora Super Sectional, that featuring either Hillcrest or Bradley Bourbonnais. It's a 6:30 time slot down in Champaign on Friday night.
Dan Engel checks in for the Royals. Hornock will have a seat on the bench, and the good news for Greg Hornock is he'll be coming back next year along with Sherrick Simpson to anchor this squad for Don Canada. Ziesmer pushes ahead. And he's fouled as he goes to the hoop with 24 seconds left.
Well, it looks like it's going to be called on Pincos, I would imagine, number 33. Of course not.
And the crowd favorite, Johnny Hernandez. His work is done for the night here.
A foul on McNett, that's his 3rd personal. Two-shot foul for Ziesmer here.
And the first one in and out. And he misses the second one. 20 seconds left. David Binion with the foul.
David, that's his second personal. Will make the long trip back here. Left side.
And these kids know that it's over, but they just won't quit. They won't let themselves.
They've come too far in this season, and they've had an excellent season. Co-champs of the Upstate 8.
Gores gets the first one. And the second one won't go. Binion off the mark. Ziesmer gets the bucket, under 10 seconds left. And the Boylan Titans are going to be taking a trip to Champaign. Kiley, as time runs out, and that's the ball game. The Rockford Metro Center, there's your final. Boylan upends the Larkin Royals 70-54. The Titans earn a trip downstate, and the Royals, they'll go back to Elgin. There you see some of the long faces of the Larkin Royals, but these kids can really, as Paul said earlier, hold their heads high. A great bunch of kids, great character, some great athletes, and they had a good couple years together. A lot of these kids hoping to go on and play some college ball. A lot of these kids, both football and basketball stars. And a bright future for many of them. There you get a look at the celebration. The Boylan Titans are number one, at least for tonight, here at the Rockford Metro Center, and they'll go on to a trip to Champaign and the Elite Eight. We'll be back to recap the game after this short break on Jones Intercable Sports. Kanata, Dom, what happened out there tonight? The second half especially, things seemed to cave in on you a little bit.
Well, I thought we had trouble rebounding the whole game. The first half, they must have scored 12. We figured out about 12 to 14 points off offensive rebounds. That means that we possibly could have been up by maybe 10 to 12 points, maybe more, maybe 15 points in the first half. And then I think maybe we could have held off their run there a little bit in the second half. I thought rebounding really bothered us throughout the whole game, and their inside play. We've played a couple teams that are really tough inside. Wabansie Valley, Broderson and Jackson, and they both gave us trouble, and we lost both those games. So that was my major concern coming in, you know, being 6'2" and 6'3" inside, and they go 6', 6.5", and 6'5", and then their outside players are 6'4", and we didn't do a very good job of sealing them off with our body, and they got inside and scored quite a bit.
And obviously Slaughter really lived up to his name, especially on the offensive glass. He hit the glass hard. He got a lot of garbage baskets. But it wasn't just Slaughter. It seemed that as we watched the game, they were beating the Royals down the court quite a bit. They made a lot of baseball passes. Hernandez was constantly looking the length of the court, and your squad didn't seem to get back like they have in games past.
Yeah, we did it. I think we did a good job when I got Kendrick and Sherikan in the first half. You know, they were doing it to us early, and I got them in there, and they seemed to turn the game around, and then we controlled the first half, I think. We were up most of the first half. And then we got behind again in the third quarter. We just didn't react like we probably should have. And they're a quick team, and they're bigger than we are, so I think it really presented a lot of problems for us.
Now, you've had a lot of blowouts in the last month throughout the regional, throughout most of the sectional. You had a tough game, the last one against Hananiga. Tell me, how do you think that affected your squad tonight when they got behind? They're not really accustomed to playing catch-up basketball.
Well, we had talked about it, you know, that whether we had the lead or if we got behind a little bit, that we, you know, the kind of team we are and the way we press, we should be able to get back in the game. But we always seem to have one person that was a weak link out there. We had 4 people guarded and one person to be open, and then they'd get the ball down. But I think you're right. Once we got down by 10 points, we became a little deflated. And I thought, had tell in our eyes that we thought we had lost the game.
And you talked about the defense struggling a little bit, which hasn't really been the story most of the year. It's usually been the defense that's pulled you up by the bootstraps. But the offense also seemed to not get in sync. You seem to never really get into your game plan. What can you attribute that to?
Well, I think we tried to do it a little too much individually. instead of letting the offense get us the shots, I think we tried to let the individual go one-on-one. We were driving between 2 and 3 people, and several times we lost the ball that way because they got quick hands and they're quick players. So I think we got a little impatient and a little anxious, and I don't think we had enough discipline down there in those situations to score.
Now, Johnny Hernandez going on to play ball at Eastern Illinois University. They have a couple good athletes, even though they were missing one of their big guys. Do you expect this squad can make some noise down in Champaign?
Oh, yeah, with their inside play, I think they can. They didn't shoot as well from the perimeter as I thought they would. I thought we did a good job of containing that. Well, that was one of our concerns on them hitting a lot of threes. But they had some key threes that gave them a lead and got them some momentum. I think they can do all right. You know, they seem to handle the pressure well. They've got good size. I think they'll be all right against the one of the 2 teams that we had to play.
And I know it's hard to look back on the whole season when you've just had a devastating ball game, Coach, but maybe if in a sentence you could sum up the season. This squad obviously had some goals. They didn't meet one of them. They wanted to win this ball game tonight, but really a good season in general. Are you proud of the way the club progressed?
Oh, I'm really happy how hard we played all year, you know, and how hard we came on at the end of the year and we peaked, I thought, at the end of the year just the way we wanted to, and we did a lot of things right, you know, and we could have lost a couple of those games, especially the Hananiga game. We hung in there and won that game. I'm glad we went one more step than losing in the sectional. But we worked hard, and we were first time we've ever been champs, co-champs of the conference, and we set the school record in how many wins that we've had, 27 wins, and we've won the Thanksgiving tournament, the Christmas tournament, so we've accomplished quite a bit. I know right now it doesn't seem, you know, I know the team's going to be down a little bit and disappointed, but we've had a great year.
Are you looking forward to next year? You're going to have some of your weapons coming back. Greg Hornock, it'll be his 3rd year starting at the point for you. You're going to have Simpson coming back, who really developed. Next year should be another very competitive squad for the Larkin Royals.
And we've got a couple of players like Danny Engel. I think he's going to be an excellent high school player. And C.J. Ash, he's a 6'7" kid that we have that's improved dramatically over the year. If he gets some upper body strength, I think he's really going to be an excellent player. And then we've got some good sophomores coming up. So we should have a very competitive team next year.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Coach. I know it hasn't been an easy evening.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the season you had.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more after this short break on the Inner Cable. Stay with us. And, Paul, really a tough day, a tough night at the office for this Larkin Royal Ball Club. And there's some key stats that really tell the tale of what happened here tonight. Why don't you go over some of those for us?
Yeah, taking a look at the stats here, especially in reboundings, unofficially I have Rockford Boylan with a lead of 31-19 in rebounds. Larkin could never crash the defensive or offensive boards tonight. They never really got that inside position. And that was one of my keys to the start of this ball game. Rebounding was going to tell the tale, and it did for Larkin. They just didn't do it tonight, and that's what cost them. And another thing that cost them also, not so much the turnovers, I thought that was going to be a key, but even from the free throw line, as you could see, the free throws, 3 for 6 for Larkin, 11 out of 18 for Rockford Boylan on the free throws. Turnovers, Larkin 18-12, but I don't think that really was a factor until the late going when Larkin was really in a panic to try to get control of that ball towards the end there. But you're right, a tough day at the office for the Larkin Royals tonight.
And a tough way for the season really to end for this ball club, which came so far, and as Coach Kanata said a moment ago, seemed to be peaking at just the right time. They were definitely playing their best ball of the year as they headed into the postseason. But really, you hit on it earlier, Paul. This club can't hang their head.
No.
They really had a good season, made it to the super sectional.
Yeah, that's very true. The outside shooting tonight for Larkin, again, a little bit off. Schuler, Palmer, it wasn't until Binion with 4 3-pointers in that fourth quarter, which really told the tale there. Let's give you some of the leading scorers here. David Binion with 21 points, Sean Palmer with 12. Those are really the 2 big guys. Hornock with 6 for the Larkin Royals. Boy, Rockford Boylan, Slaughter with 19, Hernandez with 17. A lot of those coming inside the paint where Johnny Hernandez just had that lane wide open. Hobson with 12. Hobson spent a lot of that third and fourth quarter on the bench, came in sparingly there. But I think a key stat, which is kind of neat, David Binion goes out with 4 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. That tells you about the character of this ball club. It tells you about the character of David Binion. He's not a quitter. And you're right, they don't have anything to be ashamed of. They are co-champs in the Upstate 8, and they go out a winner in our book.
And even down by 20 points, under a minute left, you looked in their eyes and you could see that they weren't quite sure if they believed they could pull it out at that point, but they weren't going to quit. They never laid down and quit. They showed their true character. They came through. They kept playing. They kept struggling. They kept going after the loose ball. This team, not only a great season in the one-loss column, but a great season as far as character and growing, and they're all going to go on and be all right after they recover from the devastating loss that they did suffer here at the Rockford Metro Center.
Well, you could just tell by quarter. Larkin led the first quarter 19-16, and it was 32-30 at the half in favor of Boylan. Boylan outscoring Larkin 16-11 there. In the third quarter, that's where really it took its toll. 13-8 in favor of Boylan in that third quarter, and then 25 points for Boylan in that fourth quarter, 25-16, as they just walked away with it a little bit. But you're right, they have nothing to hang their heads on, and looking for excellent times next year with Dom Canada and the Larkin Royals.
Paul, it's been a lot of fun.
It really has, and I want to thank you and the entire staff of Jones Intercable for having me on here, and looking forward to it. Maybe in the football season, and who knows? Hope to be back here with you guys.
You got it, Paul. Right. From the Rockford Metro Center, the final once again, the Larkin Royals lose to the Rockford Boylan Titans. The final score, 70-54, a tough ball game. Boylan advances to the Elite Eight. They'll be taking a trip down to Champaign. The Royals season ends here at the Sweet 16, as it did last year. This has been a Channel 6 sports production. The game has been sponsored by McDonald's. Visit your local McDonald's in the Elgin and Streamwood area. For Paul Lepic, I'm John Mercure. Thank you for joining us. Good night. Our executive director has been Rich the Boss Man Hirschberg. For Paul Lepic, I'm John Mercure. Our camera operators, Chad Mr. Pan Plasmere and Swervin' Irvin Holly. Graphics man, Steve Tightfinger Eisen. Audio, Lester Holtz. Our production assistants, John Downey, Dave Struthers, and Mark Lang. This game has been sponsored by Elgin and Streamwood McDonald's. This has been a Jones Intercable Sports WESE TV production.